Now the lead that I'm using to make these repairs, this is what I got from our local hardware or Bunnings. If you're in Australia, I don't know if Bunnings exist all over the world, but so this is it here. It's the highest amount of lead that I could find in these soldering sticks. They've got less, of course, and they've got ones that are completely lead free. So it's the first sign there, the SN, that's the symbol for tin, and PB is lead, so it's 4060. And I'm just going to use it to, so I've just welded up, there were 3 little tiny holes in here in the metal, which I've filled up with a MIG, and that includes up here. So I'm just going to go over it now with the lead to fill it in, because the problem is the metal is so old, we're talking about 60-year-old metal here, that even on a low setting with the MIG, you can just completely burn holes right all the way through, and until eventually you just end up replacing just about every panel, which I don't want to do. I'm trying to minimise the work, but make it a good strong repair. So fill that in with lead. I'm just about near the end of these repairs in here. Just gone over it with body filler, just covering those little imperfections in there in the metal. And to be honest, I'm probably making this a little bit too nice, because the door jamb on the other side, which didn't have any of this, isn't as nice and smooth as what I'm making it here. But anyway, it's almost done. So I think I might give this another skim of body filler over here. One more block sand, get it nice and even. And put this in primer, temporary primer, and move on. So I'm finally calling this left-hand upper rear quarter repair done. Just got to be primed up now and covered over. But the good thing about it is I haven't used 10mm worth of body filler like I found in other parts of the car. It's just a very light skim that feels nice and even across there. All those inside bits, they're all done. So I'm just going to get this thing sealed up now, and I've had enough for today. And tomorrow I'll get stuck into this little area here, another hole there, and then the quarter panel. So now it's time to put a new quarter panel on this on the passenger side. So pretty much a repeat of what I did on the other side. I've just got some self-tappers on this piece of sheet metal up here, and I'm going to physically roll it under the existing quarter because I haven't actually cut it off yet. So I'm using that as the mould, and I'm going to press it around. But what I'm going to do this time, I'll get under here, and I'm going to roll this sheet over because it's a fairly long sheet. I haven't cut it to size yet because I want the leverage. And I'm going to push it under the car as far as possible, and I'm going to get some vice grips and clamp it to that leaf spring. Like that. So I'll leave that in there, and I'll just go around with a rubber mallet and just caress and gently beat down on this here just to give it the form, the basic form. And once I've got that in there, then I'll start cutting the shape out. Now the other thing I want to do is where I want to cut it from the top here, I want to come under this body line because it's going to be much easier to stitch this in with welding if I don't upset this body line here, because it's not going to be easy to recreate that. So I'll leave that intact. Thankfully the rust hasn't gone up this high. Yeah, so I'll just mark a line across here. So there's my cutting line up the top. And so I'm just going to let this metal sit in here for a while, just so it kind of memorises that shape. Yeah, I might even have to start marking it underneath where I'm going to cut. So you can see through there it's pretty well taken its shape. It's only a little bit of a gap here, but that's okay. I'll be able to kind of coax this around. So what I'm just doing now is grabbing my rubber mallet and just slowly going around. Really try and get that to kind of retain its shape there. Now nobody makes quarters for these things, not that I'm aware of. I've looked online. You can buy these lower sections, and I think you can buy the inners as well, but you can't buy a whole quarter. So the next question is all these ripples across here. Again, it's evidence it's been hit. Back here, it's crumpled it here. When I took the paint off this car, this was just like about 10 mil of body filler, just covering all of this. So now I've got to decide, once I've done this, do I replace this whole section here? Because it's just not in a practical place to try and beat this out. Yeah, that's not going to be easy to do. So I can do the same thing. I can roll some sheet metal around here, cut this out like a triangular sort of shape, and replace this and make that nice fresh steel on there. I either do that or I just smear it over with body filler like the person did before. So I'm not a real fan of that. I'd rather have it nice flat metal. So I think this panel's been in here long enough. It should have retained most of its shape. Okay, there's the inner rear quarter on this passenger side. It's not too bad. I mean, this whole section here I've got to replace. In there. Big piece there and about in here. But overall not too bad, so it's not a whole lot of work. So I'm just going to see if I can get some of that scale and rust off. That's it. Put some rust inhibitor on here, that set in, and fix these patches up, and this will be done. Well, that's it. The patches are all in. Little holes have been closed up. Once this cools down, and I'll put some rust inhibitor in here. I'm going to put seam sealer around all of these patches that I've put in case there's any pinholes in there, because yeah, it's very, very soft metal, but it's all closed up now. So that's the good part. So yeah, next step. That's after a few coats of rust inhibitor. Turns the metal fairly dark, so it's doing its job. So once all this dries off, like I said, I'll put some seam seal around these welds that I've just put in there in these patches, and close. Well, put some primer on there first and close this thing up. So here's the progress. The top part is almost completely welded in. It's just a very, very painstaking, very slow process. And again, you know, I've got actually with this quarter panel wasn't as bad as the other side, but yeah, low heat from the MIG, and it just burns bigger holes in the original metal. But yeah, like I said, it hasn't been so bad on this side, but it's getting there. Now, I made a mistake on this side, and you can see this is all crumpled. I should have done some panel beating here before I put this patch on, because I could have, you can't get all the way in there, but I can get mostly in there. But I think what I'm going to do is, once I get this on, I'll make a whole new corner here and this piece up here, because this car's obviously had a hit from the rear, which is why that side of the valance panel, whatever that's called, isn't too bad, but this side's broken. So it's been hit from this side here. It's caused all this on that corner of the guard. I don't think it was a huge hit, but big enough to do that. So I think I'll do that. I think I'll just make a whole new corner here, corner up here, and